Hello, and welcome back to Aspiring Creator, where we have a very juicy one this week. Something hit my inbox this morning, which I want to talk about a little bit later because it is a very kind of very frustrating issue, which we're going to talk about more in a little bit. So welcome. Thank you for joining us again. For those new joining us, this is essentially a behind-the-scenes podcast about all the behind-the-scenes stuff of running a YouTube channel. Most of my audience is sat on YouTube, mostly on long form content, although we do dabble in like short form and Instagram and TikToks and, all those kind of things. And so I just started this podcast to try and share some of the, I guess all of the behind the scenes stuff that I can share of, the decisions that go into making each video, the ups, the downs, how we find sponsorships, financials, money, video performance, all the stuff that's, I guess I wish I had when I was starting my own channel. And, there's a ton of, YouTube advice out there on the internet. All of it is very generic. I find a lot of the time, just make better videos and that whole thing. But we know, if you are trying to become a full-time creator, there's the balance between, content and money and enjoying yourself and, all those kind of things. So this is my, my outlet to moan about, not necessarily moan about stuff, but just try and help others that are going through these same things and share my thought process as we're going to go through various talking points. And so I've written down a list of things, just stuff that's happened or has just kind of crossed my mind since the last time we did this last week. And so the first thing on my list for this week is just planning our content for 2026. So this is something I wanted to do for a while. It's something that's been prompted by our management agency who look after our brand deals now, or look after, all of our brand deals. Because they need to know what they're selling next year. And it's been on my list. I just haven't gotten around to it. I wasn't getting around to it until now. And so we're starting to plan next year's content. And even this in itself is an interesting one because I know a lot of creators that are just going week to week. They film one video, they post it, they upload it, and then they go, cool, okay, what video should we do now? And they think and wonder and go, cool, okay, that's just come out, let's do that one. We haven't been like that for a very long time. This year, as in this 2025, was the first year where I'd actually planned out pretty much the entirety of 2025 at the beginning of 2025. So we sat down, worked out a whole year's worth of content. And lots of it in the tech space is fairly predictable. Like we know when the new iPhone is going to come out. Like each manufacturer, each brand has their own release cycles that we can, in February-ish time, I guess Samsung's going to launch a new phone. So we can plant those videos through our schedule, which already, starts building out the schedule. And then there are, of course, things that, brands approach us and ask for videos where we weren't expecting one. But hey, let's take one of the videos out and put their video in instead, or just delay them or add an extra video. And we can plan around that. So in terms of planning content, I always find it's best to plan content. At least we're looking currently just to plan Q1. I feel like trying to plan a whole year's worth of content right now is quite a lot to go through. So I'm going to try and spend more time, but on a shorter quarter. So quarter one, so January, February, March next year to try and plan our videos. But again, we know that, within those 3 months, we've got CES, which we'll talk about more in a little bit. So we can chat about the videos for that. We know Samsung's going to be launching a phone in there somewhere. I know that there's probably quite a few Samsung videos that might go from February to March, 30 days later approaches, or accessory videos, those kind of things. And then by the time we hit the end of March, that's it. So there's not actually, we do one video a week. So for us, that's 8 to 12 videos ish, maybe a little bit more depending on your January 5 weeks and what have you. But 12 videos or so. So trying to plan out those 12 videos. But if we then pencil in the ones where we know we're already going to do, because they're the Samsung launches or what have you, then that's probably only maybe 6 videos we need to come up with from scratch. And actually, we have a whole ideas bank that we've been noting video ideas and things we might want to try. And so we can just pull from that bank of video ideas and see where that will fit in the schedule. And so I think it's worth doing, because when you've done that, you can then start proactively pitching brands and saying hey, next year I know Samsung's doing this. Would you be interested in taking any of the Samsung videos? And so that's what we started doing. We already have most of our videos around the Samsung S26 launch. We have tentatively booked. We have pitched brands that we know that will work with us. I've kind of semi-assumed they will at least take a few of those videos and put that in my calendar. So I'm not actively pitching for pretty much any February or March. And actually January's just started filling up. But I would say if you're planning for next year, put your ideas down on a list, and at least you know what you've got to work with. Brands can't really work with you if you don't know what video you're going to make for them in a month's time. And so plan the videos out. And when I say like plan the videos out, this also encourages and helps you do the approach where you are making the videos you want to make because you will enjoy making them or think they'll perform, versus a brand approach and you saying, hey, review this. And then you're suddenly reviewing a thing or a product on the channel that you are genuinely like not interested in and isn't necessarily a good fit, like robotic lawnmowers or hoovers or like pool cleaners, that kind of stuff. So having those video ideas already mapped out is a huge help. Speaking of which, next thing on my list was planning for CES. So I'll start from the beginning here because someone asked me this kind of question about half an hour ago or so. So in terms of CES, I'm not sure of the exact dates. I think it's like the 5th to the 10th, I think, this year, of like the dates the CES is actually happening. So when you go to CES, always get there at least a day before, if not a couple of days before, because usually the day before CES officially opens, they have media days. So if you are attending as media, I actually discovered recently that CES, I think, is media only, or like industry attendees only. You can't just go as a member of the public. So if you do want to go, get there a day early for the media stuff, which would be when lots of the companies do their product launches or keynote presentations. And then even the day before that, because jet lag, if you're coming from the UK, it gives you a bit of time just to kind of get over the jet lag. Elsewise, other things to know about CES. You can get tickets for free as media. So someone was asking me like, which option should you pay for to go as, go to CES? If you are media, go literally search for CES media registration, apply as media. I think you have to provide proof of like screenshots of your, YouTube channel or social media or Instagram or something, just to prove that, you are a creator and here are your roughly monthly average views or whatever it is. But you provide the information and pretty much everyone I know gets let in as media. Also, random thing as well. Lunches at CES are free for media. This is something that lots of my creator friends that I went with last year and even the year before weren't aware of. But the first year I went, they had like these lunches in a box where they just had them all stacked up in the media suites. And so you just went to the media room, grabbed a box, and they had all sorts of, different varieties. Grab your box and you can obviously sit down and get your free meal. Last year, you were given a lunch voucher, so you could take that voucher to the marketplace, the hall, and go and spend it on any of like the hot food vendors you wanted, or cold food, or sandwiches or whatever you wanted. That was quite cool. Although being like CES lunches, they were all very expensive. So even though it was like a $25 voucher, you're thinking, oh, this is great. I can buy loads for $25. No, it's like a burger and fries is $25 and a drink. So yeah, you don't get to keep anything. Now, in terms of how to find brand deals for CES, there's a few different approaches. I would say, firstly, get registered, because I find a lot of time that if you are registered, then brands start reaching out, because I guess you go onto the list. And when you sign up for CES, it asks for like your interests and the product categories you're covering. And so therefore, brands will then see your name, they'll get in touch and see if they want to work with you. So that's the first thing. Even if you're not sure about CES, worth registering just to get on those lists and see if companies are interested in you. Secondly, reach out. Any brands you're working with normally, just say, hey, are you attending at CES? Do you want to do anything? Do you want to do booth tours, or like, are you launching any products? Are you doing any campaigns? Like, just find out what's going on and see if you can do anything for them. Thirdly, I was also asked, like, what's the content approach for brands? And there are, of course, so many different content approaches. Lots of people, lots of brands like doing videos where it's a showcase, like here are the best 10 things I found at CES. And it just so happens that those 10 brands are all paying to be in the video. So not necessarily the 10 best things you saw at CES. But that's, again, a nice way of, I guess, packaging that kind of video. You can get, multiple brands to sponsor one video, and you can sell the first slot and second slot and third slot. Yeah, all that kind of stuff if you want to. Or you can focus on one brand. You can make dedicated videos on one brand and do multiple videos if you want to. You could do shorts. Again, shorts more likely are like booth tours, or, hey, we're here with so-and-so at CES and here's their new product and blah, blah, blah. So there are tons of ways you can spin this. A few times as well at CES, you can literally, focus on one product or one product category or like a vertical. We tried, I think it was last year, I tried focusing on just monitors. So all the monitor announcements coming out of CES, it didn't really perform too well for us. So we're trying a different angle again this year. But yeah, there are lots of different ways. This year, I don't know why or what reason or how, but we've actually already had inquiries inbound for CES. Quite a few brands we've worked with, quite a few new brands as well have just reached out saying, hey, are you going to be at CES this year? And so we were already in talks about working out on some particular projects whilst we're out there. And I'm excited to do those ones because they're with decent brands and brands we've worked with before as well, which is always fantastic. So that's that one. Next one on my list was this was just like a follow-on from a previous podcast where I said like, oh, what should I be doing? Should I be interviewing people? And then I kind of went, if I interview people, I have to like book a time, and then I have to be somewhere at a certain time, and it adds a lot of stress to doing these because again, like this one has been recorded at 3:56 on Thursday, the 13th of November. So you'll be able to tell like they're not always recorded at the same time. It's just whenever I can fit things in. We've literally had a whole shuffle around of the studio today, so spent my time doing that. And if I had like a call booked to interview someone, I'd be just like rushing around and not getting anything done. However, what I wrote down here was, what if we just all jumped on a live stream or like a Zoom session or something for a Q&A? I don't know if that would be of any interest. I know there's quite a few people, like regular people that tune in and listen or watch these podcasts or video podcasts. I wondered if it would be of value at all. We could literally record it. Maybe that's one of the episodes where I just hop on a big Zoom call. Anyone who wants to can jump on and we can just all chat and ask questions and swap stories. Like, yeah, I don't know. Let me know. Either reach out to me directly or obviously feel free to comment down below on the video version of this on YouTube if you are interested. Next on my list was in terms of like brand deals. So we had a brand that we worked with. It was a first brand deal we'd ever done for them. And they emailed back to us and said, we've only had 2 conversions. So what? And they were pushing for us to make a second video for free for them as like, I guess like an apology or to see if it converts better. I always struggle with this because there's so many different thoughts going on. The first thought in my mind is you bought one integration on a channel where this is literally the first time any of our viewers have heard your product, and you're expecting just to convert, I don't know how many, but they were expecting to convert a lot more than they did. Obviously more than 2, and 2 is quite a poor number. But again, first time they've done it, first time our viewers have seen or heard their name. And I just always think that that's a really poor approach. Like you want to have a regular thing like this, and this again is pushing towards like recurring sponsorships versus like one-off campaigns, because if there's a recurring sponsorship, it's the same problem any business has. For any business, you want to be at top of mind when someone has a need for your product, and the only way to really be top of mind is to have consistent presence online. And so it's so for example, the brand deal tanked, whatever, the video performed okay, just they didn't convert. And so to me, that's either the product isn't good enough, or there's obviously a lack of interest or a lack of connection there between the audience. The offer to get them to click or buy or sign up or whatever wasn't good enough. So it wasn't, the discount wasn't deep enough, or the free trial wasn't enticing enough. There needs to be some form of work on the CTA there of some form. And you just haven't given it enough time. Like the whole point with doing brand deals and doing recurring brand deals is you get that compound interest of they've heard it once, they've heard it again. And it's just, oh yeah, Pete mentioned that. He's already mentioned that before. Like he's mentioned it again. Oh, maybe he does really like it. Maybe I should check it out. And then again, when they come to like needing this particular tool, it'll be, oh, hang on, yeah, I remember Pete talked about that. Cool, yep, there's that brand. I've heard it in loads of his videos. Let's go and sign up and give it a try now. And so it's less about like direct conversion-based stuff than it is like brand awareness. And this is the thing. It is very much like YouTube videos, integrations are very much brand awareness. Yes, you can try and make them conversion-based, by dropping in a good special offer and deals and, enticing ad read, whatever it is. But generally speaking, all the videos all the lights have gone off. This is why I should do podcasts at 4:00, because we have there we go, automatic thing that turns all the lights off. Thank you, Matt. Conversion-based versus conversion-based. Where was I? Conversion-based versus awareness. And so if brands want conversions, they should buy short-form videos, put ad spend behind it, and they can push it out to their target demographics. Amazing. If they want awareness stuff, which is what I've just been talking about, we get to talk about them in a video. Viewers get to know, recognize, and like and follow the products. Then when they need it, they'll come to that product because they know their favorite creators talking about it, or what have you. And so this led me to wondering, how can we over-deliver for brands? Because you also, like, when you get bad feedback like that, you're instantly just going like, oh no, like that's bad. It's badly converted. The brand hates us. And it makes you think, what can we do? So again, they were trying to push for a free extra video, but we replied back and said, well, look, hey, if the first one didn't convert, like doing a free second video likely isn't going to convert that well. Also, honestly, we are booked up until like December, so I didn't want to like and give them a freebie when they're gonna have to wait 3 months to get their next video. It's not, it's not a regular video on the channel that the viewers are going to get to recognize. So then I've been thinking, and this isn't like confirmed yet. I've been thinking back in my mind, like, what can we do? Can we offer them like usage rights for a month just to trial with our videos? Can we do a free short for them? Do we like literally give them a free short with every brand deal, regardless of whether they paid for it or not, just to again over deliver? Like, what can we do that requires not minimal amount of work, but like the least amount of work that can deliver the biggest benefit or like bonus to the brand? And so like I've just been again thinking out loud. I haven't really like settled on any one thing, but it's just something that's in the back of my mind of like, when we do these brand deals and they don't convert, like how could we, like, even if they haven't converted, what could we have done to help? Like, could we have posted and tweeted and Instagrammed and like carried on using their product for an extra month and like keep on sharing it on the other social platforms and YouTube posts? There's all this other kind of stuff that's like we consider. And so like I was chatting with my friend Angus again last night. We were chatting about like the whole like recurring sponsorships versus campaign sponsorships. And recurring sponsorships are the dream, right? Because you just have, I don't know, you've got 5 brands you work with every month. All those 5 brands are just giving you like a monthly retainer. You have a set of deliverables for that, whether that's like an integration, one integration per month or whatever it is. And like financially, that's fine. You don't have to spend a single moment of your time chasing brand deals or negotiating or whatever it is. But those are very, very, in my eyes, very hard to come by. Very hard in my eyes in this industry, in this like tech product industry. In different industries that's like, I don't know, productivity based or anything like the software side, like SaaS products, like, password managers and VPNs and those kind of things. There is a certain point where it makes sense to become like, do recurring sponsorships. And when I say make sense, I'm meaning make sense for the brands, because I don't find in our industry where I am currently sat that many brands are open to it. They are very conversion based, very campaign driven. So they know they've got this product launch coming up, they've got this campaign, they've got this budget for this campaign, for this product, and they have to go and find some creators to do that. And so, yeah, again, the ideal scenario would be we find like 5 brands and that'll be like done for the year. But realism means we have to continually chase or reply to inbound leads and deal with that whole thing. Okay, I just wrote this down. I think I've talked about it plenty of times, but I've kind of come to realize that my biggest bottleneck in this business is capacity and not knowing what the capacity is. Again, I have like 2 editors, 3 editors. We don't really like we churn through videos, but we churn through videos at like varying rates. And it's knowing that like, hey, we have 3 days to edit a video. Let's get the video out in 3 days. And now we have 2 days left to do shorts. And so like I am working hard. Let's say I'm working hard. Hopefully the team we've got around me is trying to get to the stage now where we can just do that. And we know, okay, we've got 3 or 4 days turnaround for this particular video. And then we've got like a day for shorts or whatever it's going to be. And then maybe just a bit of spare admin time to try things. We are going to try, he said, I'm sure I said this last week, we're going to try dragging our entire NAS video library into DaVinci as like is it like a power bin, and then it's shared between all the projects, and then we can like, it can be indexed and we can search and like add keywords and all this kind of thing. We just haven't got around to it yet again, but again, this is something I want to do and see if that's going to then help make our future edits more efficient. Okay, this is one I wrote down last night because I saw there's this lady on LinkedIn called Sarah Adams, I think it is, and she works for, I think it's Wix, one of those like web platforms, and she's fantastic. She always posts like the behind the scenes from the brands side of things, and like here is like how much we paid for these integrations for these various brands and these various creators. I'm not naming any names, but like, she'll list the channel sizes and their average view rates and average engagement, whatever it is. And so she posted a post about how she better evaluates how does she better evaluate influencer profiles? And she was talking about using an AI tool to do so. And using the AI tool, these are the questions that she was asking the AI tool to basically pull the data for. And I thought it was very interesting because as creators, it's interesting seeing what the brands themselves are obviously interested in and trying to pull data for. This is also very interesting because of what I'm about to talk about next. So keep what I'm talking about now in mind. Now, again, she asked questions about the data that is publicly available on the influencer's profile, but would take hours to gather and like calculate manually. So first question is, what are the average views, comments, and likes on the past 8 videos only? So it makes you think, again, the videos you've done, the last 8 videos you've done, what are they? Are they dedicated turd videos where you've just taken money and the videos have flopped, but you're happy because you got paid? Again, comments and likes, like, are they, did you buy views? Because you haven't got any comments and likes on the videos if you bought views. The thing in there that troubles me is on the past 8 videos only, because depending on the channel, particularly in tech and particularly with some of our videos, like quite a few of our videos can be evergreen videos, like buyer's guide videos, which are very slow to grow. And so in the first 8, past 8 videos for us is 2 months worth of content. And it's probably not too bad in 2 months, but like there are some videos that don't really, grow beyond maybe it's like 4 to 6 months, and then they really start gaining traction just because obviously YouTube gets the data and starts pushing them out, and it just takes time for that kind of stuff. So like, it'd be interesting to see why only 8 videos. Next is, how frequently does this creator post a video? Because it'd be nice to know how often they post. How many videos are marked as paid partnership? So this is if you're ticking the box in YouTube to mark it as a paid video. Show me the creator's best performing videos. So they are looking for your, interestingly, because she's called it best performing videos. So it depends how she's then, defining best performing. Is it views? Probably is views based on my experience. Or is it taking into account everything like she's mentioned, average views, comments, likes, and like engagement? Give me a list of sponsors that have worked with this creator. So I'm assuming it's AIing the transcripts for each of those videos and pulling out if this video is sponsored by. Or even in the description, it should be the first link in the description will probably be a sponsor. So it's going to try and pull out some form of information there. And then she says she does a deep content dive and asks questions like, did this creator mention brand X or Y in the past 12 months? So you're looking for like competitive research of, are they talking about my competitors? Or maybe it could be complementary companies that they're talking about. Did this creator do a video about insert product or whatever it is? If so, how many videos do they make? Again, that could be competitive research. Does the creator mention the search phrase in any of the videos? So they can be seeing if they're, and actually the next question, is the creator ranking for the search term So they're already looking to see if they are ranking for the, maybe key search terms around that they're trying to rank for their products. And also, interestingly, what is the comment section, what is the comment sentiment in the past 8 videos? And again, this will very much depend on the content. If you are being a bit clickbaity with your videos and trying to like annoy people to get people to watch videos, then I know lots of my friends, they love the clickbait comments they're receiving, and it's like, but all engagement is good engagement, so you're commenting on a silly video. I'm very much of the opinion that I like nice comments on my videos, and so I will sit there. If I see stupid comments on my videos, I'll go and curate them and hide them and block them and get rid of them, because I just don't think that YouTube should be a platform where people come and talk hateful comments and stuff. So I always remove those myself. And it's like the whole your vibe attracts your tribe kind of thing. So I try and make my videos positive and have good outcomes and good feelings, and I want to see that represented in the comment section. Most of the time it is, sometimes it isn't, and when it isn't, I then manually fix it myself, which, whether that's like an ethical thing to do or not, I don't know, but I don't like the idea that there are nasty things being left in the comments. I don't like seeing nasty things in comments on anyone's channel, but it's my channel, it's my like home, it's my little space on the internet, so therefore I'm gonna look after it. So the next discussion, I've got a sore throat already. This is a very juicy discussion because, so I'm not going to name any names. So I've touched on the fact of the whole, buying views, and brands. I messaged a brand a while ago because I sent a message to them saying, I was a bit disappointed because you told me that I was too expensive, and yet I saw another creator make a video for them, and their video had like 500,000 views within a few days. And it's a channel that I know buys views, consistently buys views. And I thought, I was just fed up. I was like, look, you told me I was too expensive, and I wasn't. It wasn't even like a high price I quoted. And like, I'm getting told I'm too expensive when they're just chucking money at this other person who's scamming people, basically. And that's where I don't like it, because brands are getting scammed and they don't know it. And this brand reached back. They replied. and said to me like, "Oh, hey, well, yeah, actually, we wondered the same thing because the engagement metrics didn't match because again, loads of views but no comments and no likes and that whole thing." So the creator screen recorded their YouTube YouTube Analytics YouTube Studio. And again, I'm not going to name names. I'm not going to share the screen recording because that's I don't think the brand should have even sent it to me. So that's already a breach of things. So I'm not mentioning any names or brands. However, it's just kind of very, very telling. So the message I had back from the brand was that this creator is claiming that all of his data like fully complies with all of YouTube's platforms rules, and the views are coming from real users. So just keep that in mind. So is compliant with YouTube's rules, and all the views are real users. So the screen recording that I have, and I'm going to play back for me now, shows the video's got 500,000 views. Straight away, I can see that it has 98.5% of the views have come from YouTube advertising. So almost all of the views in the video are not organic; they are paid views, which would be okay. You're using the proper YouTube promote feature that YouTube and Rene Ritchie tells you to use and says it's correct. So I can't blame them for using the feature, because as we've seen before with, I think it was Ace Lucero Tech, a guy who was very, very loud and vocal on Twitter about how he's using all of the tools that YouTube gives him to grow his YouTube channel to 100,000 subscribers very, very quickly. And he was quite happy to spend money on using this YouTube promote feature to only now have a channel with 100,000 subscribers that barely gets like 20 views on a video. It's like, it's bad. And he was like outright, and probably still is outright convinced that it's like a legitimate way to grow a channel. But then like, but why? Like, what have you bought yourself other than you basically paid money for a very expensive YouTube plaque to say you've got 100,000 subscribers when no one's actually watching your videos? Like, no real people are actually watching. So almost all the views are bought from YouTube advertising. You can also see that in his 500,000 views, he got like 20 subscribers and got paid $8. $8 for 560,000 views is like nuts. So he carries on browsing around. We get to look around. He very interestingly does scroll up very quickly on certain parts of the page. But we get to, I'm scrolling through here. We get to the engagement page, and this is where he scrolls up very quickly. When you see the retention mark, and the retention is through the floor. Like, you basically see everyone clicks onto the video, and then they all drop off and stop watching the video. So like, again, if you're watching, if it's an ad, like if he's pushing it as an ad, most people might maybe click on it and then go, this is like not the video I wanted to watch. They click off it and go watch something else. And we see the average, like, it's just like they're barely watching a minute of the video. It's just horrendous. And then we click on the audience tab. We scroll down and we see that all of the views are coming from India. And I then looked at the brand's page. I connected my VPN to India and I looked for the brand. You cannot even buy their product in India. So this guy is like, sorry, this person is just conning this brand. And the thing to me is that by the sounds of it, his response was just like, hey, but we're using a proper YouTube feature. We're doing it properly. And like, yes, we are promoting it, but we're promoting it with YouTube. And it's like, yeah, but like when brands put paid ad spend behind videos, the brand knows what their demographics are. They know where their potential buyers are, like the location, the country they're in, how old they are, whether they're male or female, like all the kind of things behind them. And if the brand wanted to do that, they should then give you the demographics. And this is very much still on the brand as much as it is on the creator. But very, very clearly, to me at least, this is like the creator is scamming brands. And I don't think it's ethical whatsoever. At least if you're going to be paying to promote your video, promote it in the place that people are going to buy the product. And so again, the brands likes to being like, well, hey, we've got 500,000 views, but where are the conversions? Where are people buying the product? Like, I'm confused. And they actually messaged me saying like, here's what we were sent, but we don't understand this. We don't know. So like, can you explain like what this means? Like, are we being scammed or aren't we being scammed? And I like looked at it and it's like within an instant, I'm like, it's a scam. Like you can see straight away. So just it really frustrates me. And like, again, I keep saying to myself, you shouldn't get like pulled into this. Just, stay in your lane and focus on like your videos and making your content and those kind of things. But equally, when we're like losing out on brand deals because they're going with these scammers instead, it is just so frustrating, so downheartening. And like, also just hearing YouTube and like Rene Ritchie and people just constantly say, hey, you should be using YouTube Promote. It's a great feature to be able to, get your video seen by like bigger audiences. And we were chatting here. It's almost like this is like YouTube's way of dealing with bot views, because when people are going to these third-party services to go and buy views. Sorry, my phone is just going off. Let me just mute it for a second. Because when people are going to these other platforms to get buy bot views, why not do it through YouTube instead? So at least with YouTube, they can control, where they're pushing videos to. And so, and again, going back to the whole like India thing, the reason why they're buying views from India. Oh, sorry, I should correct this. They're not buying views because this is the whole thing that is the problem with YouTube. So you're not buying views with YouTube. You are just paying to put your video as an ad in front of or within someone else's YouTube video. If you target India, the Indian demographic and the country, you can buy a lot more placements. You can buy more ad placements with a lot less money. It's just cheaper to buy them in India. So therefore, if you want to get a lot of potential clicks and views, even subscribers, you target India because it is essentially dirt cheap to do that. You do that same thing and you spend the same amount of money on like US viewers or European viewers, and you'll get like barely any views, barely any subscribers. So it fully matters where you target your ads. And if you're targeting these cheaper demographics, cheaper countries, then yes, you will grow quicker and get more views. And so I can see and this is the whole problem with like the terminology. YouTube saying like, you're not buying views, you're not buying subscribers, you're, placing your video in front of other people's videos. But it's where you're placing your video that matters. And if you're placing your videos as ads in countries where you don't, I wouldn't say you don't care about the viewers, but like for this particular example, it's a product, the video is made to sell a product. And if you can't buy the product in the country that you're targeting with your ads, like that's a scam outright, surely. And so, like, coincidentally, this might actually turn into a brand deal for me at CES or in early next year, because like we've gotten talking now. And I just got so pissed off. I was just sat there going, like, look, you're telling me I'm too expensive, and yet you're wasting your money on these like scammers. And there's quite a few of them. And this is like the horrendous thing. There are some now very large creators that are doing this, and they're just doing this to scam brands. And I thought brands would be wise to this kind of stuff. I was legitimately shocked to see an email come through from this brand saying they've literally screen recorded like YouTube Studio, and the brand couldn't understand what they were showing them. And so I've had to like decipher it. And so like, yeah, it just makes you wonder and question what's going on in the world and YouTube, and like how brands are getting away with it. And the communication very much, I feel, needs to change from YouTube, because YouTube are pushing you into doing this. It's like they've given you access to a feature without really understanding what the feature is. And people have different intentions on YouTube. Some people are wanting just to grow a number of subscribers and views. And this is basically what these larger creators are exploiting. They are exploiting the fact that brands don't know or understand. They are buying the 500,000 to 1 million views on every single video, and they're getting away with it. So honestly, like my opinion with this is, if you see a brand doing this, then email the brand, because my God, like, I thought the brands would be wise to this, and maybe the brands had a KPI of views. Maybe all they care about is views, and sometimes they do. That's all they care about. But sometimes it's the agency, and okay, there's all sorts of things here. Sometimes it's the creator themselves boosting the views. Sometimes it's the agency of the creator that boosts the views, because they want, their KPI is views from the brand, so they want to boost their creators' videos to get the views for the brands. Sometimes it's the brands that boost the views because they want to be, perceived as a premium, product that has lots of interest from public audiences online. So they boost the views of all their videos. So that, when their competitors look, they go like, oh, well, our videos are only getting 1 million, but all of this brand's videos getting 2 million. So they must be popular, even though behind the scenes, they're not converting that amount. Now, at some point, money tree has to run out, surely, because, you pay money to boost views and buy these things without delivering any form of conversion. So it does make me think the money tree should run out. The problem is I thought it should have run out like 3 years ago, and we're still going. So I don't know how long it's going to go for. But that is just, I found that super interesting. I thought I'd talk through the process and really just like confirm what I thought was happening already. And so, yeah, I just thought I'd share that, and I've shared it with my creative friends, and we're all very much of the same thought process here of like, what the heck is going on? And like, we all agreed that is an outright scam. The fact the brand's questioning and trying to figure things out just tells you everything you need to know. So yeah, reach out to the brands if you see something that you think's. I want to say, okay, when I think that you've seen someone that's bought the views, go look on platforms like ViewStats, watch the video perform in the first like 24, 48, 36 hours, and just watch the views grow, because you can normally see that it will perform horrendously for the first, like, I don't know, 24 hours, and all of a sudden it will find its audience and then suddenly like shoot up to like 500,000 views. And so, yeah, look at those graphs, try and like look at a few of their videos. The problem here is, like, I don't want you going to accuse like everybody. The problem here is that there are some videos, we've all had videos like this, that do that from time to time. You post a video, doesn't really do very well, and it does, like, YouTube does legitimately find it an audience, but it finds the audience without tanking the retention, comments. Like, you still get the engagement because it's found an audience that is actually interested in it. And like, if anything, that's what you should be using YouTube Promote to find, is like, let's find an audience where we can, a lot of the time it's like putting views in America or Europe or, those kind of countries, because that is the audience that is interested and can buy the product. At least in our industry, I know there's a whole, like, China's West, Chinese worlds and those kind of things, but that has its own thing. Like, promote your views over in the Chinese kind of places, because then they'll be interested and they can buy it. So, I feel like I just go on about this all the time, so I'm gonna stop right there because I talk about it too much. But that is the fun and games I've been having this week. More on all of this next week, where we talk about other random stuff that's happened in the past week. And I will see you in the next video.